Ruh-roh. OBS had a hiccup there. That was weird. Well, it doesn't seem like much has been lost. I've still just been trying to wrestle with cheekbones, jaw structure. You know what I think part of the issue is? Part of the issue is that, right now all it is just a jaw and cheeks minus everything else I'm going to add. So it's like out in the open. It's clear for all to see. There's not really much to obfuscate it. And that's why it's bothering me so much. So I think once I start adding like hair and like the hair, the neck, the little nosy. I think I'll start to be able to tolerate it better. Is part of the issue the special on how frogs are making the water game? Alex Jones, is that you? No, I'm John A1. It's John A.O. Ow. I'm drawing a tiefling. Bye bye, own. It's Yomu's theme. Y'all like women with swords? This is the sound of a girl with swords. John Alexander would have been better. Women with swords? Nah, I prefer women with great swords and ultra great swords and super mega ultra great swords. A man of culture as always, RNG. Okay. So... she's got short little browlets. Little pointed browlets. How did I spell sword wrong twice the same way after writing it correctly once? I don't know, at this point I just kind of expect your typos to be just one of your quirks at this point. Modify the mouth a little bit. It's so weird drawing a character that doesn't have pupils. I'm not used to it. I think something I've noticed in all the characters I've designed, I think there's only been a few times to my memory where I've actually ever given a character a widow's peak. I'm not sure why it's something I so seldom do, but you know, I just notice, hey, a lot of my characters don't have widow's peaks. I've always been bad at Pelling and Mammer. Controversial opinion. Grung poison should be better. I agree. Controversial opinion, all poison should be better, and they need to add a D12 bow. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Oh goodness. She has the gold saucer earrings. Can't forget those. I'm gonna draw the neck first. I mean, flat DC 12 con save with maintained skin contact requirement. Yeah. Yeah, it's not much. I know, one thing that I've kind of picked up from the, the elf and orc had a baby supplement, is typically if the character has two parents that have a trait in common, like, um, ooh, it's centipede time. Um, if you have two parents, like for example, if they both have regular dark vision, then their offspring should have superior dark vision. Like they should stack and have like the superior version of that trait. So like, I actually can't remember if there are any races that offer the same like poisonous skin attribute that the Grung do. The Grungs do. My best guess would be a Grung with a Yonti pureblood. But I think that would, well, that doesn't necessarily give them a venomous bite. It just gives them poison immunity. I don't know. Something to workshop. So, smacks? Are we selectively breeding dark vision? Yes. Are you naked and clinging to their naked body? How am I getting this skin-to-skin contact for prolonged periods of time? Like, how do real poison dart frog skin work? How does their poison work? Like, is just a single touch enough? You lick them and get poisoned. It's about getting eaten and then they learn not to eat that again. Okay. So it's not strictly, like, physical contact. I mean, usually they learn not to eat those things again by not being given the chance. Oh man. Somebody should make a Toho fan game with Momoyo and basically base it off of Dig Dug. I'm hoping that somebody for one of the Toho game jams, they have that idea and they go through with it. Because I need that in my life. Which is why super poison is pointless. Can't learn if you die from poison. Physical contact is what happens when you eat someone. Like, you can't be half a phobic and indivore, it wouldn't work. Okay. There's the two bangs. And then she's wearing a hairband. gonna draw her ears first. Haplophobia is an intense, irrational fear of being touched. It is different from hypersensitivity, which is physical pain associated with being touched. Thank you, Google. This asks the questions about bite attacks against grung. Do they get poisoned? That is a very good question. Only if they swallow. Oh my god. That just reminds me of... Oh my god, way back when... Like, has anybody ever heard of Joe cartoons? Like, that was old internet. Well, basically, one of the characters of those animations was just, oh, it was Superfly. And, like, I can't remember how exactly the one short goes, but, you know, the guy, he has a toad in his hand, and Superfly is supposed to be, like, a super whacked up, like, like super high kind of caricature. And so with all the talk of, like, of licking grungs, it's like, that just reminded me of, you know, he's just egging the guy to just lick the toad, lick the toad, lick the toad. God. I'm pretty sure those cartoons have not aged well. Okay. The ears. Which means... Now it's time for the discs. The plates. The fine china. Poisonous skin. Any creature that grapples you or otherwise comes into direct contact with your skin must succeed on a DC 12. Well, I want to make a grapple barbarian grung now. Yeah. That should be bigger. Even larger. A massive golden platter. Okay. Okay, ears, earrings, hairband, headband, hairband. Okay, I've had enough of this theme. Ooh! Crazy dancers! Still say it can be higher than DC 12. At least scale the DC with level. Yeah. Trying to figure out a way to increase that DC, though the grapple barbarian would just drag people so they're always touching. Come give me a hug! Suppose I should kind of make sure, or like, have an idea of what I want to do with the shoulders and such when it comes time for that. All poison suggestions say to add homebrew to the proficiency with a poison kit. Also added the proficiency bonus to the save DC of resisting poison. Seems to be the best I've seen. That's simple. I don't know. I mean, I was starting to think like it would mainly just be effectively something you have to homebrew. In most circumstances. Let's see. I think unlike the last few characters that I've redrawn, I think I'm probably gonna keep Winona's I think I'm probably gonna keep her chesticles a bit on the smaller scale. In which case I might have to adjust her shoulders a little bit. Froggy Cuddle Puddle! Yeah, I got a little froggy tower going on. Welcome, welcome, Binky. Can't find anything to raise the DC besides the Poisoner feat. That doesn't apply to Grungs, but does raise Poison DC to 14. I mean, the DC 12 is okay at low levels, but drops off at mid to high levels. Yeah. No, even DC 12 is awful. Con is the most common high score for enemies to not to have, not to mention the numerous immunities to poison that many enemies have. Yeah, drugs time. Speaking of poison. It's time to poison in a positive way. DC-12 could work at level 1, and past that, it's useless. Yup. Now that we think about it, undead would make it useless. Yeah? Ah! One of them didn't go down. Meds taken. I need to fan. What's the temperature in my room now? 76. Meanwhile, outside it's now 55. Ugh. I don't even have the heater turned on, really. It's just plugged in. Like humans and normal beasts, are the only creatures without some sort of resistance to poison, and the DC is basically like, what, 60% after succeeding a grapple check, so 2 checks just to potentially poison someone. Yeah. Yeah, all the poison getting a bad rap in Forgotten Realms and beyond. Okay. There's no good justification for it, but it could still be broken due to Artificer. I'm glad somebody is bringing up this conversation in my stead, because this is honestly something that doesn't really cross my mind much. Just kind of digging deeper into game mechanics and game balance. You know, usually I'm just the kind of frog to, think, ooh, cool character idea, and then kind of go with that regardless of how balanced it actually is. I mean, I do what I can to, like, not make all of my characters entirely useless in combat, but, you know, only capable of so much. Stares at my solo campaign wizard. I haven't actually drawn either of my solo campaign PCs. I made Hero Forge models for them, but I haven't actually drawn them yet. I'll get around to it eventually. Okay. That's better. I can tell I tried to maintain similar proportions in the initial portrait, but I don't think I don't think it went as well. Like, it's very clear, like, the head is distinctively bigger than like the remainder of her body shown, just proportionally. Think a lot about specific features and spells and take it apart to see what it can do. There's definitely a niche for it. Basic poison costs 100 GP and an artificer can produce half an ounce a day, so the cost of a vial 1 GP, and you can make 99 GP profit per vial, or 49 G if your DM is using half the seller's cost rule. So a poison making artificer can become richest not by adventuring but by selling poison. You can also get rich by having the mending spell and working in a children's clothing store. Incredible. Part of me is wondering if Stellar is taking notes. Rightio. Actually, no. Let me draw the hair first. First, I gotta figure out do the hair. An aristocratic lifestyle requires 10 GP minimum per day, so just sell 1 vial a day. Mending is a cantrip, which I would like to have IRL. It would be so useful in reality. How useful it is in-game is debatable with the DM, of course. Of course, Artificer can be even more OP if you produce 2 bags of holding as your invocations at level 2, because then you can make the Arrow of Annihilation, which can remove any enemy from a fight, assuming they're not a wizard with planar travel spell. Good ol' Artificer. We got a tortoise dragon. Trip to the Astral Sea never hurt anyone. Also, a winged kobold, owl, and our Aarakocra can reach level 20 from 1 fight at level 1. Except all those people who have been hurt in the Astral Sea. Literally, one of the characters I redrew. I also thought to touch up their backstory to literally be like someone who was kind of like shoved into a portal into the astral plane and was trapped there for like 75 years until eventually finding a portal to somewhere just so they can manage to get out somehow. And I'm considering her to be like my own version of Jenny Everywhere. I mean, I know I could just use Jenny Everywhere if I really wanted to, but it's like, this one feels a little more authentic to me. Plus, I always tend to lean towards, like, I tend to lean more towards wanting to create, like, an original rendition of an idea myself rather than, rather than always like borrow ideas from other sources. At least when it comes to characters. "75 years astral plane time or real time?" Real time. Because, like, as far as I know, like, you don't. Like, the astral sea, like, the effects of time just completely stop. Which is kind of similar to the Feywild, except in the Feywild, it's just like, it's not like the effects of time entirely stop, but they definitely do get warped. As per traditional mythology. Tarrasques are interesting creatures in that they are one of the highest XP enemies that have exactly 0 ranged attacks and a Dex DC of +0, so just cast ranged Dex save spells from the air and you win, level 20 afterward. That works if the DM throws a Tarrasque at a level 1 party. It doesn't stop per se. Yeah, I can see how, like, you know, time, the flow of time. Okay. The property of space-time, like, the whole, like, time forever moving forward part, that still applies to the astral sea, you know, and you could still kind of measure time in there, but in particular, like, time-based effects, particularly like aging, are null. That's my understanding. I survived the D&D campaign Tomb of Annihilation thanks to the astral plane, and since my character was Warforged Artificer that doesn't breathe or need to eat, they just they just landed on a random asteroid and now live putting around with a small propeller, living life happily. Pretty sure time doesn't exist in the astral plane, so either 100 million years could pass or 0. Wait, there's time? I thought there wasn't a Google. Or I thought there wasn't to Google. I don't know. I I'm just working based off my own memory, my own inference. That could be wrong. Especially when, like, I don't tend to pay much attention or give much mind or care to a lot of official D&D lore. I'm much more a fan of homebrew realms and rules. Time does exist, but it depends on which plane of existence the sea is close to. Ah. Time in the astral flowed at the same rate on a prime material plane, but the effects of time were slowed almost to a stop. 1,000 years in the astral plane felt like only a day to the traveler. Hence, it was sometimes considered effectively timeless. Creatures did not go hungry or age while in the astral plane. Yeah. Yeah, but relativity means that it kind of does. It does, but it doesn't. Thank you, Einstein. Literally Einstein and his theory of relativity. Extending out her arms and down to the waist, mainly as an excuse to be able to draw more of the hair. Okay. On another note, I have a sliver and it hurt. Oh no! No good to have boo-boo. It's quantum mechanics. It exists, but it doesn't at the same time. Is it alive or dead? Yes. Good old Schrodinger. So the astral plane doesn't pass any time unless observed by the material planes, and thus it is in a hyperstate of time passing and not. When you need a PhD in quantum physics to play D&D. I swear the amount of research I've had to do to prep to explain to a DM an idea I had could probably get me tenured at a university. For our silly little geek games. Oh wait. I messed up. I made an error. Kind of. I just forgot I had this side I needed to account for. I think this is another moment where I just have to say less is more. It just happens when you create a universe and have to explain things in it. But DM, look, look, look! The medieval period had black power, so why is it so ridiculous that someone would come around and be like, what would happen if we put a fireball spell scroll in a steel tube with a steel ball stuffed into it? Just channel your mana and cast a spell and kaboom, you got a pocket rocket launcher! A pocket rocket launcher firing with a force of 46 fire damage. Sorry, that's 8d6 fire damage, all compressed into a small tube. The ultimate pea shooter. Or heaven forbid, fantasy medieval railgun. However you would accomplish that. Sorry, Moose. I'm not in the mood. Okay. Instead of Moose, we get Karen. We get what's the word? Psychopomp? The fantasy railgun exists, and it uses peasant hirelings and one javelin. Oh yeah! Oh, I forgot about that. Well, you could get people in a line 90 feet apart with the catapult spell scroll for less hirelings. People have thought a lot about D&D. Shoot again, but that all comes back to level 2 artificer with bags of holding. Okay. I think I've got the hair where I want it, so I think next up should be the horns. Part of the whole tiefling deal. I'm finally using my the new mouse that I bought. I'm still kind of getting used to it. It's smaller than the other one. But it doesn't double click. Just banish anyone to astral plane. And this DMs is why you always include a spell scroll of dimensional travel in any big bad evil guy's pocket. The astral plane is the land in the sea. We can't be that accurate with probability. Banishment is still banishment. It's like hitting an island in the ocean. Not your problem where they land unless it's to a sympathetic astral being who's tired of random bad guys being dumped on their front porch. That sounds like something... that sounds like something I would hear out of, There's a web show that I adore, that started with D&D, but I think they've since shifted over to a different system. But it's a series called Thrilling Intent, and that sounds like the idea of, you know, a bunch of bad guys just washing up in the same, like, unknown astral plane of existence. Like, congregating all together into a single space because of the shenanigans of the protagonists. That definitely sounds like something that would happen in Thrilling Intent. A group of big bads coming together to survive the astral plane sounds like a fun D&D campaign itself. It does. There we go. Need our horns to be somewhat thick. You know, not just like twiggy little tines. Mm. They can tell stories and commiserate over their personal history with different heroes. I was just ruling my kingdom when some jackass is shot an arrow with bags attached to it at my throne room. I remember hearing tell of like a wand of banishment that a DM that a DM that a DM gave to their players. Thank you. But whenever they banished the enemy, it was just teleported to the final boss battle. So the more they used it, the harder the final fight became. Oh no! That is incredible. Also, we have now reached the Contrarians theme. Among one of my favorites. Love it. Never trust the items that DM happily gives to their players. If they're happy you found their hidden item, just drop it and go. Or the Dungeon of Mimics, that when they finally found the one chest that wasn't a mimic, it's because every single golden artifact in the chest was hidden baby mimics. Or you find the Dragon Horde mimic. D&D players are so creative. Oh man, this actually makes me think. I actually do have, a personal list of homebrew magic items on hand in my files. I'm kind of curious what y'all would think of them. I'm gonna give her a little like bead deal going on between her horns. This girl needs to look fancy. As fancy as she can. Or the bar of mimics, be careful of where you sit. Dining room of mimics. In D&D, the roasted turkey eats you. Sure, every now and then a patron who goes to the washroom goes missing, but like the building produces free beer, so we just leave a sign up that buyers beware of mimics. Could probably find a way to exploit them to break the game. I'm somewhat betting on it. Mimics and the Koatoa are the absolute best. I don't think I've actually taken the time to actually learn what Koatoa are. There's a lot of creatures and monsties. That I don't think I'm fully familiar with. I know there's definitely one magic item that I came up with um, that is like supposed to be kind of ridiculously powerful, but I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. Um, and I think the main reason I brought it up is because this theme reminded me of it. Foreshadowing is a literary device where I remember the time I gave a group of Koatoas pretending to be human cultists a book of fan fiction. Of course, my genius party pretended to be their god, only reinforcing their beliefs. Well, the Koato are creatures that if they believe hard enough in anything, that thing becomes truth, or real. Are they aberrations? I mainly ask I know, because I know beholders, like they have similar capabilities whenever they dream. Medium humanoid. Huh. Phoenix! Butch Phoenix. Koator are fish people with just insanely strong psychic powers that literally manifest their beliefs into reality if enough of them believe. But the Koator are based on the Cthulhu mythos, just like beholders, so impressive that your brain drew a connection. Yay me! Good job, subconscious. I'm kind of coming to realize this drawing is taking longer than I anticipated. What should I do next? I'm thinking I should probably get to the clothes. But it's like, where do I... Who am I kidding? I always start with the collars. It's amazing how much fantasy is due to Tolkien or Lovecraft. I mean, Tolkien pretty much single-handedly is like single-handedly the reason D&D exists. Clothes are a good idea for non-nude characters. Oh, happy! Hello, Oshio! A fully nude SFW party would be quite funny. Like druids, barbarians, hermit wizards all team up with each other to stop the lewd menace that is a clothed big bad evil bard. It's completely family-friendly campaign. It's almost like a reverse Kill a Kill. Attack on nudists! Just finished work, wanted to say hi. I'm glad to see you stop in. Hope work was alright for ya. Thinking I might modify the tie a bit. The big bad evil bard is the one who created female armor, and this party has had enough of his sexist, misogynistic armor designs and decided to stop the clothing atrocity. But all armor is infused with his evilness, so they must forgo clothing to stop him once and for all. Kung Fu Panda wasn't bad. Nice. Don't know much about the Panda post 2, because 3 has his family or something, and once kids get involved I usually check out. I can sympathize. Epic witch time. Just like the Shrek movies or Boruto. We now need a Kung Fu Frog. I could have sworn something like that exists. It has to. Somewhere. Like, even if it's... like, whether it's 2D animated, 3D animated, maybe it's, something that Kermit experimented with at one point. Everybody was Kung Fu frogging. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. Okay. Now we got a little bit of frill action going on here. Google says there's a board game called Flying Kung Fu Frogs. In a studio called King Fu Frogs, but no anime, no movie. Did find Kulipari, an army of frogs. Well, that's just what a group of frogs is called. That's more Australian, I think, than Kung Fu. Creating a Kung Fu Frog movie? I wish you the best of luck. You have my full endorsement. Okay. We're inching closer to completion. I don't think I'll be able to get to work on Carrie tonight. I can definitely show y'all where I'm at with her, though. Aw, man. Finishing up just as one of the most awesome songs comes on. Never fails. Okay. Well, with this, I think all I will do for now is just carry over all the colors that I need to use when I start to color her in. Oh, wait. Almost forgot. I know there's a little bit of shading there, so. Trim. Can get rid of that layer. And I can save progress. Yeah. Okay. No, like legit, it's set in the Australian outback where Aboriginal like frogs fight scorpions. Huh. The one most surprising thing about this Valley Girl is her lack of open valley, despite her namesake suggesting so. Time to go to bed so I can wake up super early tomorrow. And then nice, Strata. Thanks for seeing you again. Thanks for coming by. Okay. Yep, so we've finished Winona's line art. I will get to coloring likely in my own time. As for demonstrating where I'm at with Carrie, dearest old Carriolide, like I mentioned at the start of stream, there's still like a few things I still need to draw in, like with the line art and stuff, but she's pretty close to done in that regard. So here we are looking at her original portrait, and I zoom out. This is where I'm at right now. As a water genasi, I felt obligated to actually make her hair more fluidic, more liquid. Although, like, right at the bases, it can resemble, like, regular hair. And then I, like, changed up, like, if you go back to the original portrait, you see, like, these lighter lines are supposed to represent scars. Like, she got, like, from, like, sort of a shrapnel sort of explosion kind of deal. And then I looked up actual, like, scars from shrapnel, and they're a little more intense than this. And so I tried to reflect that a bit better in like a longer face. So now it's not just at one side. There's a little bit like in her eye, like it's still functional, but like it's very clearly like scarred over, burst a little bit past her eyebrow. I tried to make her sailing cap look a little more coherent than this. Like this just looks like a random sort of origami thingy. Another reason I chose to like go with the usual like water like hairstyle is, I mean, if we just look at the original portrait, I drew this back when I was still kind of fresh to D&D, and so I was still getting a grip on like the races and stuff and their general appearance and like physical traits. And so when I heard that water genasi have hair that flows and ebbs kind of like real water, it's like I still took that to mean like they still have hair, but it's like extraordinarily wavy. And I mean, technically speaking, you know, there is no hard set correct way to draw any of the races. But nevertheless, it's like this hardly looks like water. Like it just looks like light water colored hair that happens to be wavy too. Like it's anime hair. It's anime protagonist hair. Whereas this, I think, is a better kind of representation of that sort of elemental idea. Our barnacle or seaweed. Maybe? Maybe. I know one thing I definitely wanted to keep was, like, we notice, like, the sleeves are almost sort of, like, haphazardly torn right at the edges here to make room for some strong lady pecs. Or, no, not pecs, biceps. um, and it's like, yeah, I did try to demonstrate some of that, like, strong woman, kind of appearance. But in this one, I tend to go a little further with it. You know, bigger biceps. I've already given her bigger tits. Like, why not go the full mile? So yeah, that's where I'm at with Carrie. Carrie allied. Um, let's see. Um, oh yeah, I had the thought to just bring up their character sheets, sort of describe a little bit of their backgrounds. I can start with Carrie since we're right on her. Okay, Carrie Allied von Torrent. Um, I made her level 2. However, She is 1 level in fighter and 1 level in warlock. So, she's a water genasi, as we all know. She's chaotic neutral. Her background is a sailor. She has 21 HP. Her AC is 16. Um, hmm. You know, despite being the kind of strong woman that I kind of wanted her to be, her strength is only at 11. So she doesn't actually have a better modifier. um, However, she is proficient in athletics, so there's that. There's that much. She does have a 16 in dexterity, so that's a +3. 17 to con, that's +3. 11 intelligence, 12 wisdom, 13 charisma. She's proficient in athletics, acrobatics, nature, perception, deception, and intimidation. Personality. My language is as foul as an Otyug nest. I'm not sure what those are, but it sounds true enough to me, true enough to her. I stretch the truth for the sake of a good story. And I'm a hopeless romantic, always searching for that special someone. Ideals. Freedom. The sea is freedom. The freedom to go anywhere and do anything. And glory. I must earn glory in battle for myself and my clan. Bonds. I want to be famous, whatever it takes. The ship is most important. Crewmates and captains come and go. And something important was taken from me, and I aim to steal it back. And her flaws... My pride will probably lead to my destruction. I'll do anything to get my hands on something rare or priceless. I'm horribly jealous of anyone who outshines my handiwork. Everywhere I go, I'm surrounded by rivals. Bigger, better, stronger, faster. For spells, because she is part warlock, her cantrips are shape water, which she just knows naturally. Blade ward, frostbite, level 1 spells, healing elixir, armor of Agathis, dissonant whispers, and Tasha's hideous laughter. She knows common and primordial. She is 5'10", stands at 194 pounds, is age 25, and is of course a women. A few of these more detailed descriptions of her background. Yeah, she is very tall and muscular. Her hair is long and wavy, flowing in the air like ocean waves. Her chin is squared, her nose is straight, and she has thick lips with a gap in her teeth. There are streaked scars across her face caused by shrapnel wounds. Her voice is mid to low pitched, and she has a German-like accent. Personality. She has an eagerness for adventure that's generally difficult to quell. The prospects of danger, intrigue, and treasure is sure to draw her attention. She's also determined to become legendary in some regard, even if it means spinning tall tales of her ventures. While perhaps decently competent handling tavern crowds, she bears a semblance of awkwardness towards women that she would wish to court. Nevertheless, she remains persistent to find that perfect lady to woo. Character flaws. She can be thought of as rude and crass, but only because she's caught the mouth of a sailor. She's still overall without shame of her presentation and words, which may sometimes be less than comfortable. Her greatest vice is her impulsiveness. She often makes rash decisions, headstrong in the pursuit of exciting adventures. News of her first voyage also makes her out to be unlucky, but it's mostly because of this quality of hers. She is prone to jealousy and other adventurers' exploits. She's quick to make rivals of others and is easily roped into the competitive mindset. Background. So this is her backstory proper. She was born and raised with a family of shipwrights in the port town of Eastmoon. Being the youngest between 3 siblings, she was often coddled and thought of as the helpless baby sister. Having a natural affinity for adventurous pursuits, she wanted to prove them wrong. Once growing old enough to work, she was hesitantly recruited into the sailing crew aboard the expedition bark Tervale, headed by one of her brothers. She was taught how to navigate, sail, and sword fight. After 3 quiet years, the Tervale made a voyage to a remote, uncharted island towards the east. Fortune smiled upon the crew that day as they found great riches there, though most of the bounty was kept by her brother. However, she was given a peculiar orb that was found within. She doesn't know much about what it is or where it came from, only that it has arcane function. She managed to activate the orb's magical essence upon holding it under a lunar eclipse. However, she seems to be the only one able to use it. Along with other treasures she acquired then, in addition to the earnings of her work, she bought the Tervale from her brother. She was given free rein to a life of adventure, at least for a time. Her first voyage as captain went quite disastrously, where the prospect of entombed treasure had only turned up a deed to an unknown estate in an unknown location. She now seeks to find a way back home, reclaim the Tervale, and resume her seafaring life of adventure. She also hopes to find a wife as well as the mysterious estate for the day when she finally retires. Legendary booty and her chest puns. Yeah, so she's a proper, lady pirate archetype. And then, as for Winona, her full name is Winona Sapphire. She is a level 5 warlock, again with the warlocks. She is a tiefling with a charlatan background, 35 HP, AC 13, 11 strength, 14 dexterity, 14 constitution, 9 intelligence, 13 wisdom, and 19 charisma. Personality. Sarcasm and insults are my weapons of choice, and I pocket anything I see that might have some value. Ideals. Independence. I am a free spirit. No one tells me what to do. Oh right, she's also chaotic good. If you can believe it. Bonds. I think this is probably the funniest bit. It's just, if I get enough treasure, maybe my rich mom will let me back in the house. Flaws. I have trouble holding my tongue, and I'm incredibly shallow and materialistic. Glitz and glam, baby. For spells, her cantrips include Vicious Mockery, Eldritch Blast, Blade Ward, and Prestidigitation. Level 1 spells include Fairy Fire, Sleep, Bane, Mage Armor, Find Familiar, Hellish Rebuke, and Hex, which, by the way, Find Familiar is because of is because she took a Pact of the Chain for her Warlock subclass. Level 2, we got Calm Emotions, Phantasmal Force, Mirror Image, and Hold Person. Level 3, we have Blink, Plant Growth, Fly, and Hypnotic Pattern. And even though she doesn't have access to level 4 or 5 spells yet, I did put down the Warlock spells that just kind of come free once she reaches those points. Level 4, she has Dominate Beast and Greater Invisibility, and in level 5, she has Dominate Person and Seeming. She is 5'8", 142 pounds, 19 years old. She knows Common and Infernal. I don't have anything more in depth for her general background. So yeah, that's pretty much all we got about Winona for the time being. She's a meanie girl with a subservient imp. Find Familiar is because it's so much RP fun. Yeah. Okay. Man, all this time I've been trying to talk past Insanity Lunar Rabbit. Oh, and the next song would have been one of Okina's themes. It would be kind of criminal to talk over that, so I won't. Instead, I will restart the Froggy tunes. Well, this was fun. I hope to do more. I do know there's other like D&D stuff I'm working on at the moment, including a second solo campaign for myself that I'm actually going to be using another supplement alongside the Solo Adventures Toolbox. Basically, somebody went out of their way to make a whole supplement that basically puts Monster Hunter into D&D, and I had to latch onto that. I have to try it out. But of course, I don't want to strictly follow the kind of like world building bits that the supplement provides. So I'm like making my own Monster Hunter world. And you know, that's been taking a little bit of time. You know, I had to figure out I mean, I used an online generator for a world map, but then for like the particular hunting areas where you find the monsters, I need to draw up my own maps for those. For any which biome, any which situation. And I'm thinking I'll probably try and draw the 3 PCs that I've created for the little hunting squad. They're all dwarf women. I thought it was a good opportunity to give some dwarfy love. I know at the moment I'm actually currently drawing one of the NPCs that I came up with for that campaign. And there is so much going on with her design. I honestly didn't anticipate to get as deep into it as I did. I'm thinking I'll probably share those in the future. But for the moment, I know I have my other solo campaign with my Yaunty wizard and my changeling bard. I know I haven't fully completed that campaign yet. And probably at some point I'll draw the PCs and any which NPCs that I take a fancy to in due time. It might be on stream, it might not. And I know there's another solo campaign that, like, I've been gradually cooking up that's just like regular D&D proper. But the difference between the campaign I'm doing now and that one is, you know, basically in the current campaign that I'm playing, the world is being generated as I play. You know, and then for this other campaign I actually want to, like, I'm actually working on some proper, like, more in-depth world building, actually putting some care into it. I think I actually showed, like, one of the maps that I was working on back, in one of last month's streams. It already feels so long ago. But anywho, it seems pretty clear I'm deep into the D&D brain rot. There's also, like, a number of different, like, podcasts or campaigns on YouTube that I have in my watch later. And then I think there's probably, like, one or two, like, proper podcast campaigns that I've yet to start, that they're just stashed in my bookmarks. One day. Anyway, that's probably enough rambling for tonight. I am going to quickly boost my coffee. If anybody is able to donate a little smidgen of their buccarinos, it would be much appreciated. I know, slowly getting into the process of moving out of the house. So, we don't know when exactly just yet, but, you know, it's probably gonna shake up my schedule and my life circumstances by a fair amount. So, you know, any spare monies that that anybody can part with, I would much appreciate that, but of course don't feel obligated. Otherwise, you can find me over on Tumblr, co-host, Mastodon. I know I am I am free this Thursday. Actually, come to think of it, I think from now on, all of my Thursdays are going to be free. Pretty soon. A previous obligation that I've had regularly, virtually every Thursday, or every other Thursday, is no longer going to be a factor in like very soon in the month. Well, later in the month, but yeah. With that said, anywho, this Thursday I'm free, and so I may do a gorilla stream. And if I do a gorilla stream, I'm probably going to try and do it over on VStream. If you haven't followed me over there, I would really appreciate if you did. So hopefully, maybe, possibly one day, I can jump off the Twitch wagon and still continue streaming reliably. That's it. I have Thursday free. Otherwise, I'll stream next Friday. Don't really know what I'm gonna get up to. I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. It's kind of the two things that have been occupying my brain lately is D&D and Monster Hunter. And honestly, I just think they make a really good mix. So I can't wait to share the details of the Monster Hunter campaign once I finally get around to actually playing it. Whenever that'll be. I still have maps to draw. I don't necessarily have to draw the characters in order to get started, but it's just something nice, you know? Something to help kind of bring it to life proper. Yeah. You could probably count on me streaming next Friday with whatever I get up to. I'm kind of leaning more towards, more Patapon. I think that would be fun. I would have to finagle around, the emulator, or key bindings. I basically had to kind of run through all the key bindings in order to feasibly play Freedom Unite on an emulator. No matter! I have said my piece, which means it's that time, Lily Pals. It's time for a raid. It's time to find somebody we can annoy. Oh, I'm so happy that I have a mouse that doesn't want to rapid click all the frickin' time. Okay, who is live right now? I wonder if anybody is actually playing D&D or Monster Hunter. see Iris is doing some art. Lay Shroom, Toto Hex. Oh, Zenosha. Zenosha is live. Playing Command and Conquer. Goodness. Sweet Melody. Oh, she's playing Sly too. Oh, that takes me back. Gloop Queen. Yakuza Mom is live. Slum is live. I'm thinking we should probably raid Zenosha. I don't think I've had a chance to raid them before. Oh god, they've been streaming for 8 hours? Oh, they're doing a fundraiser, that's why. Oh, cool. Okay, we are going to raid Lore Master _ Zenosha. We will be friendly froggy lily pals. Yay, yay! I feel productive. I'm not sure which I'm gonna work on first. Off stream. Whether I'm gonna start coloring in Winona or finish up Carrie. I think Carrie is probably gonna be one of the tougher ones. Then again, there's also the NPC that I'm drawing. Oh boy. Well, for the NPC, I am in the coloring phase, basically. I don't know. I'll figure it out. In the meantime, I will see you all next Friday, or possibly Thursday, with whatever we get up to. Have a good night and time zone, Lily Pals. I care you all so much. So many. Oh yes, we mean.